Hi, I'm Mutgren Oakwald, and Dad's old shop. And Jesus, I forgot the uh, self-monitoring. I thought I did everything, so I scared myself. There we go. I'm Mutgren Oakwald. Welcome to Dad's old shop. I'm no longer yelling, speaking into my own ear anymore. Perfect. Uh, Today is going to be a pretty light and easy day. I mean, there's going to be a fair amount to do because I have just a lot of stuff to get done. And this is mostly smaller stuff. I do have larger projects that I might work on, but it's probably going to be an hour, hour and a half. Not super long, just as long as I'm feeling comfortable and it's not too hot down here. Now that it's summer, I have to run the dehumidifier, and that makes a bunch of heat. Otherwise, the basement smells, you know, like a basement. So first thing I was going to do, probably just get these out of the way. I was going to sharpen some of the tools that I've been using because they definitely need a sharpen. The other thing is I had 3D printed an adapter for a shower. So we have a removable shower head. I have a camera set up a little different, so if I'm off the mark, my bad. I forget the maker who did it. It's one of a couple. There is a part that hooks on to like a pipe, like a vertical pipe. Like we have a shower caddy that has a pipe. And then there is this part that comes off at an angle, which you can put the shower head into and clamp it into. So the idea is to help with our small child and to lower where the shower comes from. We throw these in here, goes around a pipe that's 3/4 or so, and then this stays pretty loose, and you do have to open and close it, which is annoying for inserting the shower head, but yeah, it doesn't take too long, and I figure if we go with I always want to call these thumb screws, and they're not thumb screws. They are, I forget the name of these. I don't have the box next to me, but the wing nuts, that's what these are, because these remind me of maple seeds, like, the seeds that come off maple trees. So I always want to call them like maple nuts, but that's not right. That's it, yeah, wing nuts. So I got to cut these because these screws are entirely too long. It was kind of a compromise because the walls of these are so small, because I couldn't really print it much bigger and have it still kind of fit. Also, how you doing, Suki? So it's all compromised. I already had to glue some of it back together, so I needed the thinnest screws that I could get, and that I could also get attachments for. So these have to be cut in about half. I wish I would have gotten an actual marker, but we're just going to go at it because I can always just make more. I have to buy these by the box. The quickest way to do this would probably be to bring out the Dremel tool, but I don't want to. It's loud and that makes a lot of noise. Not as much as this, and this is a nicer noise. And I could just pick them up off the floor, I guess. Or I could hold on to it. But then you can't see it go flying. I think that's pretty funny. Okay, that one went way too far. I can't do that anymore. Otherwise, I'm just going to lose them. And they got some distance on that one. Just try a new setup where we can see everything. There we go. And then I have the sharpening plate here because I'm going to have to file these up so that they slide well. I was worried about getting these done. This is faster than I thought it was. That might be too short. Oh well. I think the ones for the shower head itself have to be longer, just because that's a longer or wider thing. And also the reason why I can't be exact is because it's tapered. So we're trying to get 4 points around a taper, which is, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just have to keep the shower head elevated or de-elevate it, keep it stable. There we go. As I jam my knuckles into this bench. Yeah, I could probably put this down here. That's probably a little nicer. That's not nicer. About the same, actually. Ooh. The hard part is I could do it easier two-handed, but then it goes flying. Two-handed, I could just like snap it, just one, two. But that's a projectile now. But I have nothing breakable down here by that, so not the worst. Honestly, they're going to end up on the floor probably some way. Alright, and there we go. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need to go find 2 that went flying. Because I had 9 just in case I lost one, but that was before I just threw caution to the wind and yeeted them. There we go. So, just going to take these onto this plate. Just kind of grind them down so they don't have a sharp edge. And then just give them a test. Because they need to be easy to use. Because my wife primarily does the shower duties with the child. And if you're still using it, it's not going to get used. And also, as they get used, they'll be better. And then, once this is done, I can move on to sharpening knives. When I was doing the cooking stream, I realized I need to do a fair amount of work on the knives. Oh, if I had, you know, that I totally have things I could have done that in. You know, if I would have sort of taken a couple seconds, or just, you know, waited, I would have had a better solution than throwing these across the room. I thought I was going to use a hacksaw, and much to my dismay, I found what I thought was a hacksaw blade, started to cut, and then not a lot happened in those, 5 or 7 seconds, and then I look at the teeth, and yeah, that was a wood cutting saw. It wasn't a metal cutting saw. So, still cut, but I'm sure it's, I didn't need to do that. Because I thought, I could have sworn I had my hacksaw inside, and I guess I brought it outside to cut. Probably used it outside to cut bolts or something. And just, that's kind of the issue when you're running out of 2 shops, sort of. Like, I have the shed out back where I do blacksmithing out of, and I also do my outdoor woodworking off of that. But then down here, I do the indoor woodworking. And I don't have 2 complete sets of tools also. I'm just going to hit this with some WD-40. So it is just shared tools and remembering where stuff went. All right. Okay, so this one should be good. Am I getting better at this? No, I'm getting the same at it. That's fine. So, one of the things that I do want to make at some point, and I'm unsure if I will make it on stream, but, so, in May, it was, my father had passed away. So, I still have his ashes, because that's what happens, you gotta deal with it. And most of them are getting scattered. The old man didn't have many earthly attachments and didn't really care a whole ton. So that's fine. We have some planned trips of places that we know he'd want to go. But there's a part of me that wants to keep it. And it really is depending on 2 things. It is dependent on what I think I can what my wife would let me display in the house versus kind of classiness. Because one of my fond memories is the first TV show that we ever got into together was when I was a little kid, little young dwarf, called Exo Squad, which is a show that nobody probably knows. Because Exo Squad was a show that maybe had 16 episodes or something like that. It wasn't long. It wasn't storied. It was made to sell toys, but it was cool. It was kind of like a Gundam ripoff. Um, and actually much closer in tone to the BattleTech TV series, which is a funny watch now, especially now that you can find it free on YouTube. But that was the first show that we had ever like watched and bonded over, and it was like a Saturday morning cartoon. Did find out later that it was actually kind of similar to Power Rangers, a Japanese import, but it was actually like 2 or 3 different shows that they just kind of cut together to make one show, just like they did for a lot of Power Rangers. So I know I still have at least one of the suits from the show. And the idea would be that I would make a little vessel to keep a small amount of ashes, and he would cockpit that. And the reason why is because I don't know how my wife feels about having an action figure with ashes inside. You know, I haven't run that part by her yet. But I think it would be funny. I feel like Pops would find it funny. You know. But if it is that, I don't know how to build that. And it'll be a learning process. I don't mind learning. But I will say, the box is very nice. That currently interned in. You know, being able to work, I couldn't help it. Go over the box and kind of obsess about, oh, what is it like? What is it, you know? And is it like a handcrafted box? No. But it's nice. It's nice. Also very heavy. I feel like they weigh them on purpose. So that they don't accidentally just like get knocked over or something like that. Also, they screw from the bottom. Now that was new. Because we were like, how do we even get it open? It took a while. When I was a much younger kid. In our garden. We, not really garden, it's like a side yard. We had a like display bottle, like it looked kind of like a bird bath sort of thing, and in the center of it had a crystal, like a mirror crystal. It wasn't real crystal, but it looked like a big orb and mirror. And I remember being really little and going and seeing that and go, oh, that's cool. And I touch it and it moves. So now I'm like, oh yeah, we're in. I can play with the shiny ball. And I pick it up and there's a bunch of dust in there. And I'm like, that's weird. I guess that was sand in there to keep it way down in case it like rained or the wind blew or anything like that. And I play with it, and it's a glass mirror ball. So being a small child, I then immediately break it. And my mom comes out, and she's really upset. And I'm just like, what? It's just a decoration. Years later, she told me that I had an uncle that I didn't know about who had passed away, and she had received his ashes. And those ashes were in that ball. And that was the most guilty I've ever felt. But that goes to show why what you store human remains in is important. Because kids and families will just do stuff. There's also a service that I like. It's not a unique service. A bunch of companies do it. Where they could take a picture and etch it into an acrylic block, and then you underlight it, and it creates like a 3D kind of, I don't want to say hologram because that's the wrong word, but like an impression image. And I think those are nice, and they're pretty affordable. We have one from when we got engaged. We took a nice picture, and I had gotten that done like that. So having something like that would possibly be nice. So yeah, so that's why I didn't stream all May. Because a lot of work, you know? Never had to plan that stuff before. So still dealing with stuff from it, but that's fine. Here's what it is. One day I'm going to probably do a small stream, because I don't think it's, a big stream. But while my father didn't have much, he was a machinist by trade. So I do have some of those tools now. I haven't cleaned them or vetted them or anything like that, because they've been in the storage unit for now half a decade, but I do have them. So I'm excited to go through those and wonder. Some of them look kind of the same, like they're stair micrometers. So I'm not sure about much about them because that's a level of precision that woodworking does not demand at all. Because if there's duplicates of them, they probably sell pretty well in secondhand market. So I only need one. I don't even need one, just kind of want one. I know there was like a reamer, not for pipes, the thing that you knock off metal burrs with. I forget the name of the tool. Not furniture. One of those as well. And there's a couple other odds and ends. Most of it I ended up just checking because it was all duplicates. And like just like standard household stuff. There was a fun hammer that was destroyed except for the head, basically. I don't know why he kept it. Probably sentimentality. But that's good steel. So I figure if I would like, I can reforge that into something else. Because that's tool steel. You know, I can practice on that and probably not feel too guilty because it was just something that was going out. I also had a thing where my daughter brought me over like this folded over piece of metal, and I'm like, what's this? And I'm looking at it, and wife goes, oh yeah, we found that down by the train tracks. I think it's a tie. Like, what do they call those? The things that tie the plates to the rails or plates to the wood beneath it. The stretchers. And then I realized that's what it was. It's like, oh, thank you for thinking of me for something to bang on. So I get to practice with that too. I know railroad spikes are kind of the common thing, but you know, there's a fair amount of material there once you stretch it out. And right as we, man, this thing is just not. Am I jumping a thread? Oh yeah, I'm jumping a thread. That's why. That's why. Right as the drought is declared ended and we can actually go out to start blacksmithing, it's raining for the next week. So that's great. Eventually it'll, dry up, but I got to get the substrate for the box dry, which is the next part. Because as it is now, I can use it, but because it's wet, it will create a bunch of steam. And the worst burn I've ever gotten in my life was because of steam. I'm not afraid of it, just cautious, because when you're dealing with blacksmithing, you're dealing with levels of heat that you're just like, that the regular rules of hot kitchen stuff doesn't apply to. Yeah, I used to work at a supermarket in the seafood section. Will you turn? Please. Please, child. Please, child, turn for me. Where are you getting stuck? Oh, still there. Okay, I see. I worked at a seafood department, and I had put down a bunch of shrimp, steamed shrimp. And they were ready. So I was like, oh, I got to go get the glove to get the pan out. And that was on top of the steamer. So I reach up to go get the glove, and I go, well, while my hand's on the way up, I'm going to knock the lever open to let it do it. So I do that, put my hand over that, and then lose all the skin there. It was all first degree burn, or third, whatever the smallest degree is. It just shed, and then I went on with my life. But that was a fun surprise. It's also the first time I ever saw one of my teachers out in a place as an adult, because I was in high school, and one of my elementary school teachers recognized me and came over and put it in an insane order that I didn't realize was insane at the time. Because I'm like, I guess we're a supermarket. I guess we sell a lot of fish, whatever. Hey, boss, I got to do all this. I need some time to get this done. And they're like, hold on. That amount is a special order. And then they went and spoke with the guy, and then, he was cool. He wasn't mean or anything. I've been blessed by having mostly good teachers. The only, I think, bad teacher I ever had was English in high school. And had nothing to do with the academics. Well, I guess it kind of does. I had taken that class with my buddy. And me and my buddy shared each other's work all the time. Every so often, we'd both not do the work, or one of us would do it, the other one wouldn't. Or sometimes we'd just see the assignment and be like, I don't want to do this. You want to take this on? And, we would. Because we were cool. Because we, each pulled our weight. And this teacher would take snacks from kids. And I would never share because I'm, I'm just like, you are an adult. You have money. I don't. I'm not sharing Jack with you. Uh, so despite submitting the same work as the person next to me who did share stuff, I got summer school. And they got like a B, which was annoying. And while that's bad enough, the reason why I tell them as a story of a bad teacher is because like next year I had them again because my school was small, so we only had so many teachers. And when after like 10 minutes into a class, 15 minutes into a class, they didn't show up. And we're like, well, what's going on? Do we just leave? Do we tell a different teacher? Just confusion high school. Two dudes in like black leather coats come in, and they're like, "Hey, where's Ricky?" And we're like, "What? Who?" And find out they meant our teacher because we didn't know their first name because you don't use your teacher's first name. So these two mysterious dudes find out that there is not a person here and then leave, and then we never see or hear from them again. So they were probably on some stuff. People are complicated. That's not a complication you want to deal with teachers. Man, I am just butchering getting the res right on this. And I hope this sounds okay. I've been working with some levels. I need to actually get into this new mic and deal with the internal gain. I think it's a little high. But I can't alter that from OBS and stuff. Just everything has its own proprietary stuff, which is great. Love it. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, last one. I'll tell you, I have met some very strange and interesting people. I like to explain it as I am not an exciting person, but I have lived an exciting person's life, and I've met with very many exciting people. Which is good, because it's all stories, right? Something company you keep. Oh, yeah, some of us are VTubers. We're a bunch of weirdos. That's actually one of the things I was going to, because I had a couple plans for Pop, because he passed unexpectedly. It was, he was old, old enough. But we had some plans, and one of those plans was to explain to him what I do as a hobby. My dad knew one hobby that I had, and that was tabletop wargaming. So, like 40K, Starfinder. He knew I did some stuff with a network about podcasting and yada yada. And, he'd be like, oh, how's your game? Because he was starting to get into some of the stuff. Like, he had saw the Halo TV show. Then I got to get him some of the Halo books, and he really liked those. So we were, jamming. And Jamie can't do that, but that's fine. I just kind of view it as I'm lucky. Because not everybody gets a bunch of years of Pops, right? So. And maybe I'll not do what he did and actually explain my life so that it's easier to write obituaries for me when I eventually die. Because I'm going to do that. You can't stop me. As much as the curse of dying young is, living forever, I think it's like the ultimate curse. I'm just looking for something to turn this, because I think if I get this one turn and a screw, it should be fine. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Alright, so let me try to loosely assemble this just so I have it in my head of where everything goes. Because, like, this part here, these two, once they're there, they don't move. That'll be forever, so family doesn't have to worry about adjusting those. And I also have some, they're not barrel nuts, capped nuts, nut caps, that work for these as well. Oh, geez, I should have gotten something else. And I might also throw, you know that cloth that you have? That grippy cloth that you put at the bottom of drawers? I might glue some of that in here just to help give it some extra thing, because it grasp, because it is just going onto a metal shower bowl. And I can't torque it down too much because they don't seat all the way. Trying to get an angle on it. Yeah, see, they don't seat all the way, and I could drill that out, but that would make that an exceptionally weak spot. So I think the play is just hope my child does not grab onto it, which might be asking a lot. But, you know, yeet. And then head on out. And I might have to do some more just final adjustments with the drill just to get the holes right. Because there needs to be some play to make sure these line up, because I did not drill these 100% straight. Because drilling into resin is weird. Resin doesn't like to be drilled. Resin is 3D printing resin wants to become powder. Whenever you do anything with it, it wants to powderize. Like stuff that's PLA filament, when that's sufficiently bonded, infused, and everything like that, it will slice. And this stuff does not slice. When you drill it, it sometimes will get a chip out of it, but it wants to become powder. It wants to become powder so badly. It just hates existing. Okay, so I do, like I said, I do have some nuts that I can use to keep these captive there. Just because I obviously cannot fit. Well, definitely not there. 3? Could I do 3? No. I can definitely do 2. And then the other side is the easier side. 1, 2, 3, 4. The wife asked me, was like, anything you want to do for Father's Day? I'm like, yeah, I want to work in the basement. I want to cook some chicken wings, and I want to just vibe. Just nothing today. We did a bunch of stuff yesterday, like dance recital and stuff like that. So very busy already. I don't get just time to chill. Although, I do get Juneteenth off, which is nice. I mean, should have always gotten Juneteenth off, but that's fine. It is what it is. Glad it's something that exists now. Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good rest of your day, Sugi. Thanks for dropping by. So next step is sharpening. Did I get my center mark? Okay, cool. So we are going, I'm going to hang this up real quick just so I don't lose this here. There's one other chisel. Oh, here we go. I was like, I knew I was missing something. Let's start with the knives, because I feel like when they go missing, I get more questions about it. So this knife, standard chef's knife. I think actually, is it this one? Both of these. So these, my mother-in-law bought me these for when I went to cooking school. And they wanted to be very supportive of their daughter's partner. And they got me a nice little set. So we're still using it to this day, so good investment on their part. Also, I usually have a blue fluid, but I don't know where that is right now. And also, I think that's just kerosene, just blue kerosene. One thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start at 600 because I want to get the bevel a little bit longer. Because you can kind of see it glint. The bevel is very small, and it's gotten smaller as I've just gotten off angle. Which happens. So I'm just going to grind and try to make that bevel longer. Just to help with the cutting surfaces in future cutting and honings. Because right now the cutting edge is so small, it's just like it's a lot more of a sharp wedge than it is a cutting wedge. Like it's something you'd more see on an axe. Like intended for splitting, rather than continually forcing things apart. I just like sharpening stuff. The process is pretty meditative, honestly. I'm starting at 600 just because I don't feel like I have a lot of material to move. So, like, got inconsistent bursts. I have a lot down here. So, I need to go more in the middle here. Also, I got chat into a box and with some font. And I would like to thank my Oshi for explaining that to me. I will remember where I was just like, I have a hard time getting chat up for another stream that I did. And they're like, oh, you can do this. I was like, dang, thank you for being helpful. I didn't expect you to even see that message. Got more dad stories. My dad taught me that adults can be wrong. Because when you're a kid, they're invaluable. Because, you know, they have all the things. They're smarter than you, you know? But it was like standard, you know, 9 o'clock at night. And I remind him, oh, yeah, I have a science fair project I got to do. I got to do something about bridges. And, you know, annoyed, he does the responsible father thing and helps me. I'm just looking at the edge, which is a lot nicer now. I'm just going to get the bottom here. And writing up the report. And I talked to him, like, going over it. And he's like, yep, you could just write it like this. And he writes the word bridge wrong. B-R-I-G-E. And I'm like, Dad, you know bridge is spelled wrong, right? Like, it's B-R-I-D-G-E. There's an extra word. I'm in like 3rd grade. I'm a much smaller kid. And my dad gets into like an argument with me about spelling a bridge, because this was the before times. You couldn't like Google things. That wasn't a thing. I mean, I guess you could, but we didn't have a computer. So I'm just like, all right, I'll write it this way, but I think this is wrong. And my dad gets so frustrated with me. He goes and grabs a dictionary. And he looks at it, and he's like, see, right here. And he points to it once he finds it. And he notices, at the same time I do, that it is spelled wrong. And that was, like, the first time I'd ever, like, outwitted my dad. Found out later he's dyslexic. Which is, you know, kind of funny on its own. Because he was dyslexic. He wasn't not a reader. I'm dealing with Pop's collections of hundreds of pulp sci-fi novels, like literally hundreds. He loved reading, he just couldn't spell. Couldn't spell worth a lick. So it taught me, hey, adults can be wrong. So I'm going to just stay on this grit, and then I will turn it over when I'm ready for the next grit. Let me just pop my back here. Wondered how much of that was the shirt, how much of that was actually my back, you heard. I do need to buy more collared shirts. This DJI is really nice, but it really wants you to wear a collared shirt, I think. Just for mic placement. Remember the first time I beat my dad in a video game? We used to play Madden. And this is old days, like, you know, before the 2000s. So it was, you know, PlayStation Madden. And he would play whatever team he could. And I would always, he would be like, here, let's give you the best shot you can. So he would give me the, like, legend teams, because a lot of those games have features where you can play special teams. And one of them is the 89, 88, 89 49ers, which are widely regarded as one of the best teams of all time. And he would smoke me, because I was, you know, under 10. I didn't have any tactical acumen. But I did have Twitch gaming because I was a child. I should be looking at this more. So I'm also just looking at the camera, trying to find a good way to orient it so like it keeps my face in frame. Still working on some stuff there. Hope I hit stuff. Okay, perfect. So, we get into an actual close game. He's playing like, I'm not even sure if it was the Browns, because the Browns wouldn't have been around, it might not have been around at this time. Maybe they were just in and they forgot to take him out, or they left him in or something. But he was playing like a really bad team. And I remember that it's like the end of the game, and I have a chance, because I like throwing the ball, because it makes the ball go far, and that's funny. So, I get like long lob off into the arms of Jerry Rice. Touchdown, win him. You know, beat him. I am ecstatic. I've never beat Pops in Madden before. Never, ever. Never, ever, ever. So, in my Glee, you know when you mess with a friend and they're like, hey, you get one, never again. I got that with Pops. So I looked like, yeah, you take that, I beat you. And then I called him a swear. You blank. And I didn't know what that meant because I was, once again, a small child. But Pop gave me the death look. And I was like, I don't actually know what that word means. I heard it at school. And he was like, that's your one. If you say that again, you're getting a spanking. And then I continued to gloat appropriately. And I know one day, that time will come where my daughter will beat me in a game. And then swear at me and not know what it means. One day. Not looking forward to that day. I still think I'm pretty good at games. But at times it comes a time for us all. I was actually talking with another friend about like just how playing games, and he comes from a like I have a group of friends that are just gamers. They don't play a lot of video games, but the ones that when they do commit to games, they're like, you know, top 10 percentile of the player base. And he's like, yeah, I am not used to playing at this level of games. Why do you guys like this all so hard? And I didn't really think anything of it until I started like playing with other people, like grabbing other randoms in groups. Like, for instance, using Helldivers as an example. I was like, oh, this game's not hard. And before they changed all the difficulties and everything, I did old Helldives for Helldivers 2, like when they first came out. And we'd run those, and we'd run those with meme builds. And, you know, we'd complete them. Might not always be a full clear, but we'd complete them. And then I started playing with another group of people after the rest of that friend group moved on to other games. And they were struggling on 7s. I'm just like, I don't understand how you play this game and struggle on these. And that made me reflect that, man, maybe I am a gamer. Maybe I'm being too hard on other people. Maybe they have other things that they do that are fulfilling, where mine is being good at something. That's also why I don't play very many games. You know, I still play Helldivers every now and then, but game I've been playing recently is Foxhole, and I was thinking about actually just making a video. I don't think streaming my perspective is good in that game, in part because that game has intelligence, and you don't want to accidentally leak intelligence to the other side, which happens in that game because people aren't careful with streaming. But also a lot of what I do in that game is driving a truck. Sometimes a train, sometimes a boat, mostly a truck. Foxhole's an amazing game. I love it. I have like 600 hours in it since January. I put so much time into it. Foxhole is a massively multiplayer online war game where everything is player made. Everything. Every bullet, every rifle, every grenade, every ounce of fuel. The only thing that's not player made is a starting pistol in your inventory, the 2 extra rounds of ammunition for that pistol, and a hammer. Everything else is player made. So like before stream today, I went to a factory. I got a bunch of materials that other people had made. I turned them into goods. Those goods went into a stockpile that is going to be used to be put on an invasion ship earlier or later, actually around this time. So like it is an all-encompassing type of game. And if I had found it when I was playing World of Warcraft, I probably would be playing that because you know it's PvP. PvP is fun. But I've been taking some footage from some of the logistics run that I do of the game, and I might make a video on that. You know, obviously sped up because the one that I took was like a 45, 50-minute run. going from the back to the front. And, you know, probably do some light voiceover. Just because I still, like, gaming is one of the easier markets to do streams for. There's sometimes where I don't feel like coming into the basement doing woodworking projects. Ooh, I almost folded over on that. Because I'm using something that's slippery, WD-40. Almost had to reset to hurt myself on stream counter. Get the counter up. I should actually link this online so I can actually do stuff upstairs. Because this, you know, 2 computers set up. Because I think there is fun gaming content there. I just am not sure it fits with the vibe of the channel. Like, I could play, like, maker-based games. Like, I would love to play My Summer Car. And if I would do that, I would definitely stream that. If not to just my group of friends, or if not to everybody, just to a group of friends. Because I think that game is amazing. I've watched people play it. I think it's amazingly entertaining to watch. Alright, just going a little bit more because starting to get a burr. Alright, perfect, and then we're going to take it across. And I have some friends that are starting to indicate interest of doing a live play podcast, which I'm fine with. I'm just bad with digital assets. Our friend group is also kind of I think hard to deal with. I don't think they make for, I'm not sure if they would make for a good live stream of that. Maybe more edited compilations or something like that would probably be fine. I'm just looking over. I kind of messed up the bevel on that. It's definitely not even. Can't see. There we go. We're going to just... There we go. Rock that up. That should be a better bevel. Yep, that's better. Not because we're not good players or not good role players, but because we're kind of jerks to each other. That's kind of what happens when you know people for a decade or so and have gotten really comfortable playing games with them. So I think we would have issues with staying on task and not ribbing each other for things we did in other games or stuff like that. Because that's what we do. But I've done live plays before. I think they could be good. Most of us play first edition Pathfinder, which is still my love, my baby, my joy. I'll play that game until the world ends. What I really want is my friend that runs that game for us. He should definitely release a setting for just the update rules, because we use an alternate kind of rule set, which just it's really close to standard, and it comes from based out of the Unchained rulebook, which does automatic bonus progression. And we're actually playing a game without automatic bonus progression now, just to kind of, you know, go back and see how it feels before we make any further revisions to the system. Because it's a fun game, and I think there's just some things I think can be done to make the game more user-friendly. So this is a little skewed, so I'm trying to very carefully re-even out. The bevel on this. Doing it unsuccessfully, I see. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. The thing is, I'm trying to kind of do 2 bevels here, because if I double bevel it or micro bevel it, I could have the initial messed up angle be fine. This chisel got messed up because when I was practicing sharpening on a what do you call that? On a grinding wheel, I use this, and this chisel's too small for that. I use this chisel a lot because I like it. Alright, that one's there. Before we switch over to the other side. So what I'm looking for when I'm doing this is just where the scratch patterns go. Making sure they go to the edge of the blade. Where am I? Who am I? There we go. So, can you focus? There you go. You can kind of see where it's shiny up front. So it's close. There's a little edge on that side that I want to do just a little bit more for. Just because having a flat, like, last bit of a chisel, like maybe twice the length of the bevel, just helps to make sure that you get straight references off stuff and all that. And because it's shiny metal, you can also see differences of like thousandths of an inch. So I can see that I kind of made an error when I was doing this. Where are you? Here I am. And you see it's kind of like a wedge up front, not straight, because that's how I was pushing the chisel in when I was going like this. I was pushing down on the other side a little bit more, so it took a little bit more from that side. You see how it's starting to close now? Ah! Yeah, that's the thing about this plate. I need to re-glue it down. Glued it a couple times, but needs more time. Alright, so we are just going to... And I do have a hone guide. Like if I really felt I was really out of a square with them, I could just chuck these up in a guide. And just take some time on like a lower grit. But I don't really think that's necessary. When you look at a lot of old tools, like vintage tools that people get sold and stuff like that, especially if they weren't reconditioned by modern people, you see uneven wear patterns and everything like that. People just kind of use these. They don't hold the same reverence to, or didn't hold the same reverence to them as they do to us. Or as they do to us now. Yeah, this is like a little bowed. Can't really see it on our end. Like, you can't see it looking down the face there of the bevel. But judging by the pattern, see it's a little bit bowed, but that's fine. Like basically, where the texture changes, that's where the cutting stopped. I am liking this new angle actually. Yeah, you can see where the cutting stopped. That's fine. Then my newest chisel doesn't really need a whole ton. That's the other product I gotta do. Getting the other chisel finished. Come on. I guess I got a new project, which is glue this down again. I'm about to use JB Weld. Gonna crash out. And we're gonna take it in the other hand. This is a cheap diamond plate anyway. Oh, I got a little bit of dipping. I don't like a little bit of dipping. So that could be due to me rocking as I'm doing this, or the shifting of the plate. We're just going to do that a little bit more, just to try to get that off. Yeah, it looks like snipe, basically. Like when you get snipe at the edge of a board by putting it through a planer. It's like I have snipe right under the edge of the cutting surface. It's probably my angle being a little off. Okay, that's better. That's better. I'll take it one more time. There we go. There's a consistent texture line there now. Right at the tip. Okay. So now we're just going to do this part before I lose my marbles. So I'm locking my wrist and turning my whole body just to try to keep the angle. Because if I move my wrist, the angle's going to change. Okay, cool. That one I got a good secondary bevel on that. Maybe an angle or two, maybe like 1 or 2 degrees separate. So perfect. So we're just going to wash off this side, or rub off this side. Then we'll go to the 1200 side. And we'll work backwards. I'm going to take a drink as well. Sorry if you heard the swallowing. Also, somebody messaged me. Oh, thank you. That was genuine. I got to respond to them later. All right. So this is the better, or the closer to finish sharpen. 1200. I don't go above 1200. As I tell people when they ask me about sharpening, I think above 1200 is nice. I think it matters on certain tools more than others. In general, things that are closer to, that you use closer to scalpels than you do work tools, because any impact is going to knock off, you know, like a 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 hone blade. Like, it's just, they're just not meant to hold. It is just making thin metal. But for things like knives for sushi and stuff like that, that makes sense. They need to have that finish. They need to be smooth. Also, they deal with a lot of salt water and corrosive things, and the higher grit you get, the more polish you get. And polish is not the enemy, but it is a opponent of corrosion. So when something is highly polished, it's harder for it to corrode. All right, so we got that. Perfect. And then I got a little bit of a burr left over. That's fine, because we started on the burr side, because we're going to knock that off with this pad here. And the reason why I do so many fingers on it is I'm trying to get a consistent pressure. Also, before I stream, would it be better to also like put out something on YouTube, or just have the waiting room up? Like, I'm just curious. Make sure people know that I'm streaming. Because I also don't use Twitter. I used to use Twitter, but now I'm happier not using Twitter. Using Twitter did not make me happy, and I have a private one that I use for following, you know, Oshis and stuff, but like, and I have a Twitter as well for myself, but I just don't like using it, man. It doesn't bring me joy. I know it's like, oh, once you get the algorithm, it's fine, but it just doesn't make me happy. Oh, I was also prepping a Starfinder game yesterday. One of the attendees will be Lizzie Luna, who did my updated new model. We're calling her Mama, because that is a VTuber thing, but like, there's a Mama in my house, Mama of my child, and I have a regular Mama. So I'm gonna say my creator, my stylist, but she's one of the people, and we had a good old chat with the rest of the table yesterday, doing like our, not necessarily session 0, but going over character building and all that, because I'm new to the Starfinder 2e system. It's still in playtest. I'm not a fan of Pathfinder 2nd Edition, so this is me giving Starfinder 2nd Edition an earnest chance. Actually, I might try something here. It's nothing to do with sharpening. I'm going to try to move my camera for VTube Studio to a place where you can see me while I'm still facing down. Probably should have been lower to start with. There we go. A bit better. A little bit wiggly. There we go. And then for you, my smallest chisel. My gentlest hand. You get my gentlest hand. Also maybe trying to do some VO work. You know, definitely volunteer work. I don't want to get paid for it. I don't want... VTubing is a hobby for me. But I do like content creation. I do enjoy it. Hmm. Hmm. Reason I'm humming like a villager is maybe I can show it this way. Where are you? There you go. The tip of this isn't flat. Like it's close. But it is like a ½ millimeter long, and trying to grind that even is maybe making me crazy. You know, that's pretty close. There's like basically a chip on it. I definitely dropped that small chisel, and when I get new chisels, I'm going to get an 1/8 inch one, and I'm kind of fine that I messed that one up because it was part of the cheap set, so I didn't like mess up an expensive tool. I got like a pack of these at Harbor Freight, and let me tell you, these are good for their cost. Are they perfect? No, they don't need to be. Oh, I have time today. I might actually do the resyncing of this model to my face a little bit better. Oh, it's sludge. That's another part of reminding to remembering to clean off the plate, because like all that gray goo that you saw there, that was just shaved metal, just flecks of metal that had been ground off by the diamond plate. And part of the reason why that stuff is there is to sorry, I'm just looking at how it ground because it's looking a little weird now. Is to help wipe away the chips. Yeah, there's not a consistent front underneath where the blade should be. Okay, that's better. That's much better. And now... all right. That's another thing. I swear as I get older, everything pops. Sternum pops now. That's a new one. I mean, new within the last couple of years, but like, I remember speaking to my doctor, and it was like, yeah, I guess that's just a thing you do now. Which I guess is fine. Probably not a sign of anything worse anyway. Just cracky bone syndrome. I always have trouble here on knives. I always want to do something weird. And I really should just like turn it. But also knives are kind of bendy, so like I feel like I end up like making a cut in a bend, and then I just get like a pattern that's not like how the knife is actually used. Okay, I got a burr, but it's not consistent all the way. Okay. There we go. Got burr over the whole thing. Now we flip. I'm trying to do is sand and get the burr to the other side. All right, I got it up top good. Just the bottom I'm having trouble with getting burred over. Okay, there we go. So we got burrs on both sides, or generated burrs on both sides. And burr is just like a little bit of wire, like a little bit of a scraped created wire. I should have been doing it like this the whole time. A little bit more sharpen lube. Just all over the tools, that's fine, it's anti-rust. I feel like there's a big hollow there or something. Probably just start to look at new diamond plates. I feel like even though this is a piece of metal, that it's starting to get a hollow in it. A hollow is like a low spot, which is why I'm having issues with getting a consistent formation of the thingy. The thingamabobber. Of the burr. What I'm going to do is put this to the side. Draw out the E's. Oh, my back. So I can glue that back in. Now, I need another paper towel. Just gonna wipe off this thing. We're gonna put the leather pad up here just to get it off so we can strap. We're gonna strap on the burr side first. We're gonna do 10 to 15 passes. And this is fresh corundium. Because when I bought these, I didn't realize they came with something. Came with an amount. So I had bought a box of it. Not like it was expensive. It was like 10 or 14 bucks, but it was almost a lifetime's worth. And this is basically blade polish. I also know this blade had a couple very small chips in it. Which we seem to have gotten away. Mostly. Is that a chip or is that just corundum that hasn't moved? Yep, okay. So, we're going to see if I get embarrassed here. Is this actually sharp enough to get hair? Am I embarrassing myself? Yes. Okay, it's getting a little. Let me see another metric. It's weird when your arm is sweaty. I mean, it definitely feels sharper than it was before. Oh, my nail touched it. Not that I don't like that. Definitely better. I could probably work on this knife for so much longer. Oh, no, I feel it. I mean, it is sharp. Yeah. Oh, maybe my hair's just changed. Oh, probably location. I had a little bit more come up. Okay, well, that one's done. I'm not super worried. These don't need to be amazingly sharp. Oh, I went backwards. That didn't mean to happen. I was looking at the screen. I feel like I got razor burn on my arm now. Let's just clean this off. See if we can get any hair cuttage here. Oh yeah, I felt some. Didn't get all of it, but did get some. Yeah, you can see the stumps in between like there. Okay, so this one's a bit sharper. And once again, definitely have razor burn. It's because my skin is wet, because it's a little damp down here. Well, also I'm a little bit sweaty. Kind of hot. I've actually cut myself doing this, because I wasn't watching where the blade was going. You can actually see the burr that I built up here. See, it looks like kind of feathery at the edge. There we go, against contrast a little bit. There we go, a little bit. I'm just seeing the pattern it's making in the crundum to see if there's any part that's like more, hitting more than the rest. This is a pretty big burr. It's still not coming off. Like it's starting to fall apart. Okay, we got it. Mission accomplished. And I'm gonna go get some more crundum. Ooh, that one might do. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that whole time I wasn't even on the camera. Here we go. All gone. No razor burn either. You can actually see it on the end there. There you go. Gonna get some more corundum. Should have kept that out. I don't know what I was thinking. Because usually I keep the strap out for when I'm working. Because I can rehone stuff, like when I was doing the scenery for that Battletech map that I need to finish. I would use it in between sessions of or in between cuts even. Because I was using this knife here. And it needs to be really sharp to get through foam. This is not that sharp. See, pretty dull. No, it did get some. But when you hit it with the polish, the worst part about doing that demo is when you're hot and sweaty and then you use your arm to like rub your face or your eyes or your nose, and then you have those new hair stubbles and you scratch your eyes. Definitely couldn't be me, but I hear it's bad. You do that and You start to get a little bit more. Yeah, cutting the tops off. Getting some. The thing is, I'm also not into, there's something like sharpness perfection because of ASMR videos and stuff like that, where it's like, oh, it's beautiful, it's perfectly sharp, it's like a razor. Yeah, it's cool. Those surfaces just aren't usable long-term for most tools, for what you're doing with them. It's just the nature of the material. Yes, it's steel. Steel is hard. But when it's thin, it bends, it moves. It does what steel do. Those are actually the criteria you probably bought it for, or it was used in that product. For its ability to do things like deform like that. Because if you didn't, you have something like the steel that files are made out of, where it's very brittle. I'm just getting the edges off this because this chisel has a tendency to really bite down on its corners. Leave marks that I don't want. But this is also a very cheap chisel that I have abused, and it's done very good for me. So I never disparage it. And yeah, see, that was the sword, not the sword, the knife. Ow, this one is just cutting a path. I'm probably not in the camera again. Cutting that path there. Got one hair on there, one doll hair. Towards the end there. Did it fall? No, right there. There we go. Where sharpness in chisels matters is when you're doing like pairing of joints. Because being able to slice fibers for when you're making like dados and grooves and stuff like that, it's invaluable. Like you really, when you're using a mortise chisel, like we're using a chisel to mortise, yeah, it needs to be sharp, and it's better if it's sharp, but there is diminishing returns of sharpness because you're just going to beat it until it's not sharp. But when you're doing slicing, that's why some people have just specifically paring chisels, which are meant for that. It's cool. It is one of those things where it is another tool. Not that I haven't been considering it. I've also been considering just updating some stuff. I really need to re-clean and organize down here. I don't know where half my stuff is since I last organized it, which is, you know, on me. Oh, that one feels wicked. Yep. Wicked. And last one, the one I feel like I've been abusing this whole time, and I do apologize for, even though I love you and use you a lot. Because sometimes I just want a little bit of material. I just want to work with 1/4 inch material. When you work with 1/4 inch stuff, it gets kind of weird too, because like a lot of your woodworking tools don't really like deal with stuff that small. Like you start getting into like hobby tools, like things for like hobbyists and stuff like that, for like dioramas, of which I am as well. I don't know if it'd be interesting to do a stream where I make some use some silicone molds and dental plaster to make a castle or something like that. So totally can do that. It's not like I don't have 70 pounds of dental plaster under my stairs. Couldn't be me. This one I can tell is not going to have the same sharpness, but it's going to be sharper than it was. I'm going to also just hit the corners one more time. And then we'll just give it a try. I don't think it will actually do it, though. No. Oh, a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I got a couple hairs. Well, I'm going to do this a little bit more. I don't know how to say it, because it just feels like rough. Corundum is like ends up being like 3,000 grit or so. Doesn't help that it's like a dual bevel now because I messed it up. That's fine. It'll do what I need it to do. And I don't want to grind the axe right now. We're at about the hour and half mark, around hour 20. This is roughly where I was going for in stream length anyway. Just kind of wanted to talk a little bit, do some shop tasks, and reminisce about Pops a little bit on Father's Day. So, and also I wanted to, you know, check up the new chat feature, and maybe I'll update how this thing tracks my face, because it's good, but definitely needs some tuning on my end. And also, I need to buy V-Bridger. So with that, thank you for joining me. I've been Mutgren, and thanks for stopping by Dad's old shop. Bye.